Good evening, RPG Limit Break and Free Enterprise fans. We are here for our second final table in the World Series of Free Enterprise. Tonight we are wrapping up the giant percent phase of this special spring league. I'm Invenerable. I'm joined tonight on comms by Thecooliest. How are you tonight, Thecooliest?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to see some great races today. We got four really good racers, and I can't see to see what they can do.
Oh yeah, and we do have a pretty interesting start here already out the gate. We do have Soya as our starting character. Admittedly, we do have the Fu challenge flag on. That's what that F there is in the middle of the flag set on the overlay. He's only going to have 500 HP and a smattering of spells to start. Each boss will give 100 more HP and more spells. Should be interesting to see how far our racers try to power him up before actually going to the giant and trying their hand at the bosses of this scene.
Yeah, this should be really interesting to see what kind of route they might take if they go like for mount ordeals, or if they go like just easier bosses, things like that.
Yeah, and of course, we don't have any shop. Well, we can buy cabins under this flag set. We can't go weapons and armor shops, cabins. Item shops, only cabins. Anything you want to use other than taking a nap, you're going to have to find. We do make things a little easier on that front, though. Many glitches are enabled. We do have MP underflow, so if you want your food to have infinite MP, go for it. We have the Warp Glitch in Dwarf Castle to get a 2-for-1 on the key item check there, both it and the Sealed Cave item. Life Glitch for a little bit faster grinding, and the Duplication Glitch. So we can actually get turn one sword into many swords if we have a character who can use.
All right, and looks like we're about to get started.
Looks good, looks good. We'll see who this partner character is to complement our Fu and what the starting item is. I'm hoping it's not the Darkness Crystal. I don't want to see this quite that jetty. I want these racers to suffer a little bit.
This I would like to see maybe a hook, or maybe like an adamant, just to, or not adamant, lungeon sword. That's what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
Looks like we got a Yang to start and magma key. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so no one will be having to go through the nice, long, lengthy hook path, sad to say, but it does open up the seed immensely. There are a lot of places our racers can go, and a lot of places that Darkness Crystal can be hiding, which they will have to have if they want to access the giant. So we'll see a little divergence here, I bet. Let's see where everyone takes off. Scratchdragon and Zilch, both heading straight to Mysidia. We do have free lunch active this seed, which means characters are free. You can get a free key item from Edward in the Kaipo bed instead of hunting down Mist Dragon, and certain bosses can be free. So they're trying to pad out their party first thing. Swimmy wants to go underground, and Rivers going for the loot. Which of these paths do you like to take when you're doing this flag set, Cooliest?
Personally, I like to go the way that Scratch and Zilch are going, try and get some really good characters, maybe even go up to Bedward and try and get that free key item that's up there.
Yeah. I love doing that key item check very quickly just so I know what I'm working with. Of course, already having the magma key, I can see, it being a little bit of a back burner because of how much you already have access to. But if you have that darkness crystal, you're in business all the way.
Oh yeah, it's just a one and go mode in this flag set.
Yeah. Rivers has Edge.
Rivers got Edge.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
Do you want to go into why Edge is particularly good under this flag set, even above and beyond some others?
Sure. So in this flag set, we have some more glitches that are available, and one of them is an item dupe glitch. So if you can grab like Edward or someone else that can equip the spoon, you can multiply that spoon to infinite spoons, and since he can throw really any item, not even just a spoon, it can be any weapon that can be thrown, that can really do a lot of damage to bosses and such. So Edward's or Edge is a really good person to pick up really early.
Oh yeah. If you can find a Cecil to dupe Excaliburs, if you can find an Edward to dupe spoons, which note that you couldn't equip the spoon as a weapon in the vanilla game. We do have this spoon flag in version 3.0 and beyond that lets Edward do that. And all of a sudden, this is a flag set where you're very happy to see that spoony bar. Alexa LaFay asking in chat, what's the GR in the T4 flag set? One of those is GP. The G is for GP. It means that really low tier items will just be replaced with gold pieces. And then the R means that trap chests are randomized in the dungeons they're found in. So if you're used to finding, oh, I know this is exactly where I will fight my flame dog in the Tower of Zot, well, not anymore.
And it looks like we had an Edward up in River's corner up there, so that should, if he can find the spoon, that'd be really, really something.
Oh yeah, fantastic pickup under this flag set. If we can find that spoon, then all of a sudden we have huge stacks of a weapon which Edge can throw for really 5,000 damage or so right out the gate. It's based on a formula of attack power times Edge's level is basically the foundation of it. So even a base 25 level Edge can just go 5,000, 5,000, 5,000.
And another Edge up on Mount Hobbs up there.
You know what's better than throwing one spoon every?
Throwing two. I didn't quite catch what Bedward's key item was.
Well, based on the tracking sheet, it appears it was the pan.
Okay.
Yeah, our tracker on this channel tonight is NightDew14. Thank you so much, NightDew, for volunteering and helping us out. And our restreamer tonight is SmapeD in the chat, doing good work for us as well. But of course, the stars of the show are these four runners. We have tonight a total of 12 racers in this race. They each earned their place through qualifiers last weekend. We have these four here: scratchdragon, riversmccown, Zilch, and SwimmyLionni. There are 8 others in the race across our friends on Twitch. Both the Free Enterprise channel and the Randomania channel have 4 each as well. Just to go over who those racers are while we're getting a little new information on the screen, we also have Penguinator, Baka Shinobi, Shamstron, Klopfer, Dusty Griff, who took first place in the Giant Percent final, the Appleseed final table, Niram, Chokosura, and Dragus. So a lot of great racers, a lot of up-and-coming racers who didn't get a chance to strut their stuff in the Zima Zone League. Very exciting to see how these points play out tonight.
Yeah, it should be a really interesting fight today. It seems like Scratchdragon's trying to search for some bosses to maybe level up Fu up some more.
Yeah, although he starts with the level 50, great endgame gear, decent stats, that starting spell selection can really hamper you down in a way that makes you want to fight a few of these boss spots that have no chance of having a key item under this flag set. The vanilla Mist Dragon spot, the Octomammoth spot, Scratch is taking the time here to power up the Fu with an otherwise excellent team with those 2 edges.
Yeah, it should be really not too much of a problem as long as Leviathan's pretty nice to them. And there he goes down.
Oh yeah. And gets Ice 3 on his Fu. That's a top tier spell, a little slow to cast.
That's really good.
But will give him a actual DPS with his Lunarian that he'd been lacking up to this point.
Also looks like Swimmy's trying to go down in the underworld and seeing what the pan has in store.
Yeah. Currently in the Feymarch Cave and looks to be okay, he was doing a partial save scum. There is a trap chest down here that would probably destroy his team. He didn't bother opening chests on the 3rd floor. Now that he's in the town, free and clear, there's a key item here in the vanilla rat-tailed chest, and that gives adamant. Under seeds where you need that to forge the crystal, it's pretty good. On this, it's a hunk of junk without a legend sword and a Cecil to equip it afterwards.
Yeah, and it looks like River's up at the top in Antlion Cave got the package that can grab you another character, though with the characters we have right now, not really sure if you would need someone else.
Yeah, and also, It's one of those things that I'm so used to playing flag sets that include no free lunch, specifically no free key item, that you always worry about Mist Dragon is. So I have to keep reminding myself that this seed, it doesn't matter. We talked to Eddie, we have our pan, we're good to go. You don't have to worry about going on a dragon hunt tonight.
No. Scratchdragon dropping his Magma key, heading to the underworld.
Yeah, a little more crisscross action going on here. Looks like everyone's going to be heading down to take care of the Fey March and the Pan soon. Just a reminder about the general format of the World Series of Free Enterprise. First place in this race tonight will take 12 points towards their standings. We have 7 different flag sets over the course of February and March. Whoever ends up with the most points across the most final tables claims to be the grand champion of the whole thing. Are you planning on getting involved in any of the upcoming events in particular, Cooliest? Any that really stand out to you?
The one that stands out to me right now is actually the one that's happening tomorrow, though I won't be competing tomorrow. I'll be competing Sunday, is the Forge Percent. It just seems really interesting to have to... It'll really grind out the playtime having to build that crystal instead of just finding it throughout the world.
Yeah. Excellent. Lots of excellent flag sets throughout this. If you're interested in participating, signups are still ongoing. Hop in if there's a flag set that you're comfortable with, that you think, you know what, I'm going to go make the final table on this. Rest of the event, I'm fine. This is the one I want to win. Come on down. We've gotten through a couple of the faster flag sets between Appleseed last week and Giant tonight, but there's definitely something for everyone, no matter your skill level or your preferred level of suffering when playing a randomizer.
Especially if you're going for that Cataseed.
You see, I was already thinking all the way down to Edward percent.
Oh, God. I don't even want to... That one's completely removed from my mind. I'm not doing that.
So SwimmyLionni, turning in the pan, gets both a tower key and a twin harp. Want to give a brief shout out to our friend, I believe it was Demarine, who rolled this seed tonight. This darkness crystal is hiding somewhere, none of the readily available locations, and I am glad to see it not being a pure jet seed experience.
I'm really hoping for a twin harp hiding the Luca key, and the Luca key hiding the darkness crystal. That's what I'm hoping for.
Aha! But now here's the rub with that, though, Cooliest. We do have the warp glitch enabled, so
that's right.
No one has to go through there. If you have the warp spell, which Fu, I know Nightdew was keeping track of the Fu spell. As soon as Fu knows warp, you can get a 2-for-1 in the Dwarf Castle and avoid that dip altogether. With most of the chains taken up, okay, how's this? Let's go with Rat Tail through Twin Harp and Hook through Baron Key through Tower Key. I think that's about as rude as we could make this.
Okay, all right, I'm liking it.
Crystal.
I'm liking it.
So if all they need is the darkness crystal, I want the yes, fingers crossed.
A lot of these seeds have really been very fast, all the qualifiers, so we're really hoping for something good. Ooh, we got a pink tail down at Swimmy. That should be helpful.
That's nice. Of course, we don't have the hook to turn it in yet, but chat, Nightdew, anyone watching, help me out here. Have we seen any random adamant armor pickups yet? It's T4. They're in the treasure pool. Has anyone actually managed to bring home one of those yet? Not yet. Thank you, Nightdew. No. So that pink tail may be the most readily available adamant armor this seed.
Yeah.
And of course, the reason we're so excited about that is that adamant armor gives you 15 to all your stats, elemental resistances, ridiculous defense, and it can let you tackle these giant bosses without having to grind up a whole lot of levels first. So it's definitely something that people like to find.
Yeah, it's the best item in the game, pretty much.
Definitely.
especially since we have no J items activated right now.
Yeah, well, just so you know, actually, Cooliest, you want to tell us a little bit about what J items are and why it matters that they're not active this flag set?
Sure. So, in the original release in Japan, there were certain items that either were really powerful that cast powerful spells, or were just items that healed a particular status ailment. So, in the US release, they were actually removed. But in this version, we put them back in normally in your typical, quote unquote, typical categories. But in this one, we have taken them out, add a little bit more of a challenge. You have to really work for your powerful spells.
Yeah. Notably, there are items which will cast Stop on all enemies. There are ones that'll cast Insta Death on an enemy. Other ones which you can use to do Berserk status on one of your characters, Reflect status. A whole lot of different, really great tools in the toolkit, but they can make these giant bosses way too easy. So we like having to make people use a little more finesse to actually get through those fights.
You gotta think through your fights.
Now, here's an interesting choice Rivers gets to make. He does find Tella, and he takes Tella. That's what I thought I'd see. The Tella, of course, in a lot of the normal variants of this game where you try to beat Zeromus, not as useful at the end as some characters. He really doesn't have a lot of HP growth or stat growth, but in these quick flag sets like Giant Percent, he's going to know all his spells as soon as Rivers is done with deals. So even though he won't have the long-term viability that other characters will, if you want to go into these fights, you will have a mage who already has pretty much all the good status and, kind of what you may call gray magic in later versions of Final Fantasy. So could be a big play for anyone who decides to take Tella. Shinbreaker7 asking in chat, what about sirens? Sirens are one of the Japanese items, so they will not be available this seed, which is another great reason to have Tella. You can do your D Machine grind with him underflowed and using the weak spell, and can grind pretty quickly even without sirens.
Yeah, that's my main, when I do stuff, that's my main grinding, so this hasn't been my best seed to do.
Gotta learn that D Machine grind.
Yeah. Alright, we got Rivers taking on the next boss at Mount Ordeals. Doing some quick item swapping. And we got I can never pronounce his name. But the water guy, that guy.
Yeah, that's not just how Dante's Inferno Italian you really want to get with it. We are a little focused here on Rivers because he is the only one forging new ground of our 4 featured streamer. And so does have the Kinatsu fight, not so bad here. Its wave does damage based on its current HP, and there's only, I believe, 3,000 at this spot, so pretty easy for Rivers to get through here. You'll note that he is pausing and running away. This does actually speed up the crumble animation a little bit.
Oh, I never knew that.
A little bit of vanilla tech used there if you don't need to be reorganizing your inventory. Ooh, and it looks like we may have had a little bit of a stream freeze. You do see that Fu has learned Fire 3 at least. That's exciting. Hopefully we can get River's stream unfroze shortly. Hopefully, I know that his stream has crashed. He's been having a few issues with it recently, but he will be recording locally. So of course, everything he does will be completely verifiable. I'm just hoping that we get to find out what this Ordeal's key item is.
Yeah. It does seem like Swimmy is checking out what the Baron Inn has. Seems like, is that a cane? Can never tell the difference between cane and Cecil.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it, but apparently Crystal Sword there, so all of a sudden people are getting, okay, that is Dark Knight Cecil.
That is Dark Knight
Crystal
Cecil?
Sword next door, extra motivation to do ordeals, can dish out a ton of damage without a ton of levels with that weapon. Sadly, not throwable though.
Wow.
Yeah, as Stormy is pointing out in chat, just reiterating that. Womp womp. It won't do you quite as good as an Excalibur will if you have 2 edges.
Mm. Taking quick work of that Rubkemp fight.
Oh, yeah. And then Fu, having picked up Quake either from that fight or the immediately prior one, these lunar dragons don't have long for this world.
No. Especially with 2 edges.
And the key item is the Baron Key, so
Ooh.
no darkness crystal yet.
Looking to be very interesting so far.
I mean, again, there were a lot of qualifying seeds for this where we did get to see people just skirt by with the narrowest of edges. You know, let me get a darkness crystal, let me get the bare minimum, and this one's actually really making our racers work for it. I'm glad to see it.
Unfortunately, it does look like that Rivers has dropped out, I believe.
That's just so you know, we do have the IRC channel. These are being timed using speedruns live. He pinged out. It's just an internet drop. He is, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do a fork, he is still in this race, and he may not even known it happened. I know that my IRC will reconnect for me as necessary.
Ignore me, I'm new.
No, it's something to worry about. I mean, you see the quit, and you're like, oh, does that mean? No. Unless you see him type something that removes him from the race, he is still.
Okay, good. I don't want to see anyone drop out.
Actually, I think in this case, Magius, since the only reason we don't know is that a stream did drop, I would say go ahead and let us know. It'll give us an idea of where Rivers is and where he's going when he comes back. So this is not an official ruling, but for this instance, yeah, go ahead and fill us in if you don't mind.
All right, Scratch checking out that Baron Key area.
Dark Elf shouldn't, again, at this point with a very well-powered Fu and 2 edges, none of these fights are going to be too rough, I dare say. The worst thing to see at this point would probably be the full gauntlet, actually, just because of the time sink.
Yeah, that's a pretty long one.
Yeah. And Rivers is back up. Yay. Hopefully we'll know what that key item was in just a second. In fact, if we don't hear that from the chat, who is looking at other channels, we may be able to. I'm just going to pull up Rivers in a separate stream and see if he is using a visual tracker. If so, that'll give it away for us. It appears to be okay. It was the Sand Ruby, and he has indicated, yeah. So, Night Dew should be the Sand Ruby from Ordeals, I think, at that point. Oh, thank you, Natara. I guess we would have found out shortly, given where Zilch is headed now. But still, good to know. Good to know.
Vivalis up at the Baron Key final.
And typically a rude boss, when she is in tornado form, it can be very hard to hit with both physicals and pretty much impossible with spells in most places. But Dart has 100% accuracy. Scratch will get through this lickety-split. A little more crisscrossing back and forth between our racers. See people scrambling up Ordeals. Rivers heading over to Baron now. So Scratch and Swimmy are the ones to look at right now. They're about to give us new information in a way that our other racers won't be providing. There we go. Val's starting to crumble. You were saying though, Thecooliest? Sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, where would you think you would go from now? Like, what besides the Baron Inn? Like, do you think it's worth it to go to maybe the Twin Harp or Tower Key, or not Tower Key, just Twin Harp to try and see what's over there, or do you think it's smarter to go for the Tower Key?
I think it depends on. What? Oh, by the way, 1400 HP slot for Fu gets nuke. Very nice. The thing I would be concerned with here is my attitude as a racer. We've mentioned some of the racers across other streams. For instance, Dusty Griff took 12 points from our Appleseed event. So if I've already made the final table and I already have 12 points towards the whole shebang, I may try to be a little more conservative in my routing, not take huge gambles, go for places where I can find multiple items at once. If I'm someone who I want first place on this table, no matter what, I may take a little more of a gamble. So I do think that Twin Harp would be just such a gamble. It's a fan favorite, but it takes a long time. Meanwhile, we do have Tower Keys, so we can do 2 for 1 in Lower Babel. And also, if we get enough bosses to get Warp on our Fu, we can do a 2 for 1 in Dwarf Castle. So I'd be headed underground at this point.
And it looks like we do have a rat tail up in Baron Castle. So your route could be where it is.
Yeah, I did say that I wanted the Baron key to be a little more hidden, but I did say I'd love a rat tail in Baron Castle, and I would love a hook somewhere rude as well.
Yeah, the hook could be in Tower Key. Or even Twin Harp. You don't nobody knows.
Yeah. So at this point, given that we all know what's on Ordeals, as long as Scratch doesn't fly back there, all eyes on him. He's the one forging new territory. All our racers are doing a great job, but I want to know where this Darkness Crystal is, and I'm really curious if that Tella and the 3 bonus bosses of Ordeals are going to make a difference from our other racers if Scratch ends up not bothering with it. Do you see Dr. Luge here at the doll spot? Luge fight usually not too bad at most places, just because the HP is split up amongst 4 different parts. So even at places like the dolls, which also has a decent chunk of HP, you can burn through it pretty quickly, especially with Nuke and Quake.
Yeah. This definitely seems like at this point we're just looking for the Darkness Crystal, and then it's straight to go mode.
Yeah. Get Coop asking in chat if Scratch is going to keep Dark Knight Cecil for Agility Anchor. Excellent question. We don't really worry about Agility Anchor too much in the Giant percent, just because things are going to be so much faster than you anyway, that it really just matters if you find a cursed ring or not, if you're going to get the rest of your team pumped up to high speeds. So it probably doesn't really matter who they keep, but of course, if Scratch does have a cursed ring, that Dark Knight Cecil will do a very good job of anchoring. Zimid, Agility Agnostic is on, so Cecil is not defaulted, but Scratch's Dark Knight Cecil is in the middle spot, so is currently functioning as the anchor. For those of you who are curious about anchoring, Final Fantasy IV uses a very basic version of the ATB system, where instead of everyone having their own agility, everyone's agility is compared to either Cecil's or the character in your middle slot, and that determines everyone's relative agility, which then determines how fast they actually take turns in a fight. It's a convoluted mess. Don't worry about it for now, unless you're really starting to up your game, or if you're having troubles at Zeroma.
And it looks like we got everybody's favorite Fabul Gauntlet.
Oh, so luckily we do have Quake. If either of our edges got a turn, I bet their ninja magic could clear these fights out very quickly as well, with how low the HP is. About 3,000 split 16 ways. Nothing to worry about, just annoying, and still probably worth it since there are 2 key items that you can get here if our Fu knows Warp.
And we do have Swimmy possibly checking out that Tower Key.
Ooh, excellent.
Into Tower Battle.
So we do have a little divergence here. Swimmy making the tower play. There are 2 key items you can get here. One from fighting the vanilla Dr. Luge spot at the top, and one by clearing out the cannon room and then running back downstairs and falling and being rescued by the Baron engineers. I do like this 3-way high five we have going on here, though. Scratch, Rivers, and Zilch all here going to be taking on the gauntlet at the same time. Each racer has done some things others haven't. Everyone has made their own decisions onto what gambles to take and what spots to ignore. I believe both Zilch and Rivers chose to forego Baron Castle. Scratch did not go up Ordeals, and Swimmy has decided to skip Dwarf Castle. So everyone has their own places they're willing to gamble on and other places they're willing to let the rest of the pack handle.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see their different strategies and mindsets, see what's more important and what's you're willing to skip.
Yeah. And now, I'm not sure if any of our racers have really done this level of preparation, but I bet if you really wanted to, you could analyze your other 11 opponents and be like, okay, this is the play they're most likely to make. This is where this person likes to go. If I want to maximize my chances of first place, where do I go? If I want to maximize finishing in the top half, where do I go?
That's
be
some
really
next level stuff right there.
Yeah, we just need to find someone with like a PhD in economic game theory or something,
Oh,
start playing free
just-
enterprise to run this for us.
Just a casual doctorate, you know.
Hey, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. World record holder of the vanilla speedrun is a PhD from down under. Sadly, we've not gotten him to start playing this game yet, which would be really impressive. The Roth, if you're out there, come play free enterprise. You know you want to.
Alright, about to see what Scratch's key item is.
Hangry Canuck asking, oh yeah, let's see this key item. The warp glitch is active. If you see, wrong crystal. Hangry Canuck. If you look at the lowercase w after the G, that means the warp glitch is active, which means we can go into Sealed Cave if we cast warp here in the Dwarf Throne Room after the fight. Only a Legend Sword, which, I mean, we could now forge an Excalibur and duplicate it if we want to have more throwing weapons for Edge. But I think they'd rather have seen a Darkness Crystal at this point.
Yeah. This Darkness Crystal is really, really hiding from everyone.
We have the dev of the game, Boardface, the man himself, dipping in to let us know that it's not actually the same map ID. It's just the same person, well, the same NPC that hands you your key item in the game. So good to know. I apologize for my my misspeaking, but it is really cool how that works and how that glitch works in vanilla game and how we can still take advantage of it here with the right flag set. Exactly, Canuck. If you ever have that GW flag on, don't even worry about it. Apparently, I've been left at the vet while Natara and Alexa are on vacation. Ooh, and Swimmy got the spoon from the fight up at Dr. Lugay, so gonna have a whole fat stack of those. 2 edges, flinging them left and right. Eddie swinging with it for tons of damage. I dare say this is a little better than that Excalibur option on the table for our other racers.
Yeah, but with them, especially Scratch heading up to the top of the tower as well, he could just be using the spoon.
Yeah. So at this point, our next big piece of information will come from Swimmy when he exits the tower and gets another key item. At this point, our choices are shriveling up very quickly. The Twin Harp is still hanging. And then if we have a hook, we can turn in the Rat Tail for a key item. And there's some Earth Crystal out there that can also get a key item. So very few options left. Wonder which one will pick.
Yeah. Alexa Faye with the request for me to tell you, you just got boarded.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what that means.
I mean, you know, having had the distinct pleasure of meeting and actually commentating this game with Boardface at AGDQ, there are far worse things, Alexa. I'll take it. Another huge high five, by the way. 4-way high five.
Yeah.
All the racers in the Tower of Babel. 3 of them heading up. Only 1 on his way out, though, and that's SwimmyLionni. You see, at this point, what's going through his head? We have no one done in the RC channel. So much of the seat is open. He has to think, oh, great. Is someone about to done? Should I gamble on a spot that more people won't check? Like, just wondering what to do, and it's really going to depend on what item he gets right here.
I'm hoping for the Earth Crystal. That's...
Oh, that'd be really rude. Oh! All right. Well, guess what? I can tell you where all the key items are remaining. Do you want to hear this, Thecooliest?
Sure, I want to hear. What's up?
All right. So, well, first of all, music is required this seed, everyone. We are getting some tunes tonight. The Twin Harp will then give one of two items. It will either give the hook or the Earth Crystal, and then either Earth Crystal will give Rat Tail, or Rat Tail will give Earth Crystal, and then finally we'll get our Darkness Crystal. Either way, this is going to be a required chain all the way, including the Grotto Adamant, the Cave Magnus, and the Tower of Zot. All three spots are incoming. that Twin Harp play earlier. Although, Nightdew, where was the Rat Tail? Can you tell me where that one was? Or do you remember, Cooliest?
I don't remember now. I'm not gonna guess.
All right, relying on our tracker.
We could get a full 17 out of 17.
Rat Tail was barren. Oh my goodness. So.
What is this line? Oh my god.
Okay, so if Rat Tail was given from defeating Keinatsu, you had to go into Baron Inn, you had to win that fight for the Baron Key, you had to go clear Baron Castle for the Rat. You also had to get the Twin Harp from... oh gosh, where was Twin Harp? You have to take the Twin Harp,
was really early.
Do this other 3-chain. This is the most convoluted, multi-threaded giant percent seed I think I've ever seen.
This is Inception incarnate.
Oh my goodness. GG's to Demarine for rolling this.
Twin
Beautifully
Harp
done.
was Sheila 2.
Sheila too. Oh, so we had to do the pan and the... What item wasn't... Okay, so Dwarf Castle wasn't necessary. Entirety of Lower Babel wasn't necessary. Wow, what a scene.
Well, it is the final table, so can't expect more.
So Scratch here, finally on the right track. Scratch Dragon does have the Rat Tail and is following the path that we know will eventually lead to what we need.
Grabs the wrong chocobo.
Yeah, just as long as Scratch doesn't at some point get tempted by ordeals, he will have a fairly decent lead over our other three featured racers here tonight. Whew, what a scene.
What a ride.
On the downside, though, so there's one bit of strategy that you see sometimes in Giant Percent that we're really not going to get to see tonight, and that is when you do have Fu, how many spells do you get? Tonight, I don't think anyone's asking that. They're going to have all the spells.
Yeah, if anyone says, "Oh, I'm not really sure about Giant Percent," show them this video. This is crazy.
Well, you know, luckily, there is still the possibility of really rude bosses in the Giant. Ones that will still, in spite of the power of this team, still require grinding, still require altering our equipment. One huge one,
like Golbez yet.
Yeah, Golbez, it can be very rude at the element spot. Wyvern is an utter monster there. Just so fast, so hard to actually get a reflect spell off, let alone then pick your team back up, because we don't have life potions. So, still a lot of rudeness that our racers could run into, and it'd be cool to see our giant fights tonight, where instead of something that you do have a technique or a little way to cheese it, there's no way around other than grind.
We're gonna keep quiet for a second because we got Harp up at Scratch.
And let's see if Scratch will talk to the harp just to give us confirmation. Chat saying Dragonware.
I am the worst at guessing these. Every time, never get it.
And we have a Mylon Z here. Again, I believe Scratch has a stack full of spoons at this point. Or did Scratch not go all the way up? Scratch seemed to have gone through Lower Babel very quickly.
No,
I'm not
he's
sure.
got spoon.
Okay, it is marked off. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But apparently has not duplicated them yet, so still just throwing Murasames. But thou must, Shinbreaker 7.
Still makes quick work of him.
Alright, so is it going to be... Now, Hook, then Earth Crystal would be a little ruder, just because you'll have to fly away from Troya and back. I love it. I love it. So you don't just get to go to Troya and then not come back. We are going to have to go pick up our hovercraft, turn in... I mean, Scratch is getting an adamant armor out of this at least.
Yeah,
and then come back, but this is...
Oh my god.
This is a complete tour of the blue planet. This is beautifully crafted. I mean, it's not crafted. This is just the rando gonna rando, but it's so nice when it actually falls in place.
RNG gods have blessed us with this. Oh my god.
And if we could get sound switched over to Zilch for the encore, I'm sure the audience would love that Smapedy. Oh, beautiful. And there's our Earth Crystal. So Scratch will end up not doing a 17 of 17, should only have done a 16 of 17, as long as he doesn't go up ordeals. If he heads to ordeals now, it will be a full 17 of 17.
I want him to do it, but he really shouldn't.
Oh, Magius, if you're willing, please don't spoil that right now. We would like to have a little bit of surprise in chat. I know we asked you what that key item was, but if you don't mind... You're fine, you're fine. If it's in situations where it's an item we missed because one of our racers streamed side, that's fine. We can definitely fill in that blank. But big surprises like that, let's try to enjoy it for the people who don't have every stream play. So I know it's kind of like a weird fine line between those two, but yeah, the river situation earlier where his connection died, different situation. Also, more music, more music, more music.
All the music.
Nah, hey, just letting you know the logic. That's all, dude. You're good. No one is coming down on you. But hey, we are going to get the music over and over and over and over.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah, and Scratch has avoided the ordeals jump. But anyone who made that Twin Heart play early is going to be feeling really good about their decisions to...
Oh yeah. And we got Octomon at the sisters spot.
Scratchdragon will cook his calamari in the microwave. Just nuke it. It'll be fine. It doesn't get chewy, not at all.
Nah. Tastes better that way.
Edge, that's not how you cut your food. You don't just throw the sword at it.
I mean, hey, whatever works. Live your life.
And so we do have, so Zilch, although he picked up the hook, did not have that rat tail yet. Leaves him with only one choice, and that's to go back into Baron. We'll, of course, find the rat tail here, and then be able to continue the path onward. So, Rivers and Swimmy looking to be in neck and neck for second and third, at least of our 4 featured streamers here.
Yeah.
But we do have 12 people in the race, and anyone who made that Twin Heart play early is going to be feeling really, really good about their decisions, and maybe coming across this finish line soon. We'll see.
Looks like we got a Sid and a second Foo.
Ooh, Santa Fu too. That lovely red robe. So 2 foos, 2 edges. Whew. And if you do those, this is a ton of DPS, ton of damage output.
I would say it's certainly Christmas in Free Enterprise right now.
Exactly.
We got Wyvern. This should be interesting.
No hesitation.
We have what burn? Is that what it's called?
No. Well, Witchburn. So it would have been a random ability. It could be Zeromus's Big Bang attack. It could be the Baron General's Retreat ability. It can be many things. Scratch doesn't care. Scratch has a Foo who I think had adamant armor on. Got that nuke off super fast, and no more dragon. Yeah, Scratch has had enough of this seed running him all over the world. He wants to be done with it. And there we go. Darkness Crystal for Scratch Dragon. Sadly, no 17 of 17. Just a 16 of 17. Can't say the same for some of our other racers tonight.
I mean, yeah, 3 out of 4, 17 out of 17 ain't bad.
Although, actually, I think Swimmy didn't do ordeals either. I'm not seeing the lit up on his screen.
No, he didn't.
So 2 17s of 17s, 2 16s of 17s. Beautiful trolley seed here for what is typically a very speedy flex.
This has been a masterpiece. We got Scratch Dragon getting the whale.
And so Scratch will be the first one into the Giant of Babel. 2 bosses there that Scratch has to kill to wrap this up. The first one is at the Element spot. That spot has ridiculously high speed and has, if it's a single enemy, pretty much the maximum possible HP. Depending on what you fight there, it can be very rude. Sadly, we've seen Wyvern, so we won't have like a guaranteed, witch burn coming in right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
After that is the CPU fight, which is a little slower, but has ridiculously high physical attack. So there are a lot of bosses there that can beat your party down pretty quickly. Although with that adamant armor, probably won't be too big of an issue.
Still, though, should be pretty interesting seeing what we have in the Element spot.
Oh yeah, but we are 45 minutes into this race, and we do not have a single dot done in the SRL channel. So it's definitely coming down to the wire here.
Yeah.
The seed itself required a lot of ground to be covered, going left and right. It didn't require, but it had spots. It really baited our racers, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, you have warp. You want to do these 2 fights in Dwarf Castle for 2 key items? Sure. You get nothing. Good day. Do you want to do entirety of Lower Babel with that tower key? Sure. You get nothing. Good day. So, very, very, very rude seed, but yeah.
That's how I like them.
Yeah, again, after with how fast last week's apple seeds were, this is definitely a breath of fresh air.
Mm. I mean, with the characters, it's certainly been generous.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some give and take with it.
And all of a sudden on this nice thin bridge, we have an evil wall. Now this spot here, again, we have the adamant armor, so ultimately won't be a threat. It's just a question of how fast Scratch can get through it. Adamant armor should reduce all these hits to just 1 damage on that Foo, and of course after it scoots all the way across and starts using Crush for the insta-kill, well, adamant armor protects you against instant KO as well. So this is a free fight for Scratch, it's just how fast can he execute at this point. Yes, maybe in chat, appropriate you'd fight this on a bridge. It has a definite Final Fantasy XII vibe going for it right now. Naidu, I don't think he did either. I think that it seemed that he did Lower Babel very quickly. I think he may have only done the tower key room and made that particular gamble. Ooh, and we do have... Cooliest, do you want to call it? Go for it.
Sure, yeah, we got Chocothora with SLR time of 4:47 minutes and 13 seconds.
So there is our first place finisher, GG to Chocosura. I'm honestly not surprised. Chocosura made a similar play at the Dark Elf spot, the Cave Magnus, in his qualifier last weekend that got him a very early Darkness Crystal and just gave him a resounding win in his qualifier. So clearly, giving the fans what they want, playing the music, and it paid off for him again. GG to Chocosura.
Yeah, GG.
For us, though, still curious what we're going to see for this second fight coming up. This is a little rude, by the way. So, scratchdragon, you can only cast Nuke 3 times with Fu's vanilla MP pool before you run out. At which point, what are you going to do? Are you going to beat this wall to death with your staff? Did you find an elixir or two to restore your MP? Nope. Taking the reset. I think this is actually really good for Scratch. I think move the Adamant to a very well-equipped edge, and then either just go berserk, break down the wall that way, or just throw swords incessantly. I think this is actually a really good move on Scratches to just say, you know what, this is the better option. Let me start this fight out.
And looks like Rivers got his whale getting out of the water.
Yeah, and Rivers, by the way, showing off his skill and talent at this game, having the full 17 of 17. If you have that free Enterprise emote, feel free to throw one for Rivers, giving us the full world tour.
Obviously a true master.
Yeah, but doing all those spots and still be heading into the Giant this quickly, very well executed.
Scratch taking it on wall again.
Yeah. Get Cooped in chat asking if Scratch can dupe the Adamant. The duplication glitch, the one that most people know from the vanilla speedrun, will let you duplicate any weapon or armor piece that you can equip, that one of your characters can equip in their hand. There is a lesser known duplication glitch used in a Japanese TAS of the game that is applicable in this flag set as well. You do have to 2 of the armor piece, though, if you want to duplicate it. So if Scratch found a second Adamant armor, absolutely. There's a technique you can do to duplicate that and have yourself a full stack of Adamant armors. But I don't think we saw another one other than the pink tail one.
Yeah, not that I know of. I didn't see any wild Adamants.
Yeah. It is a very fun tech to keep in mind, though, if you are racing this flag set. I believe there are pin guides to it in various channels on our Discord. It's a fun little trick to turn 2 Adamant armors into 255 Adamant armors, and you just have a team that just rolls through everything.
No, you saying nope, Pigtail was the only Adamant that they saw.
And Panda Capra, apologies if I'm butchering that pronunciation, pointing out that if you do remove Adamant armor, it does leave you super weak to lightning, ice, and fire. So either have something to replace that with, a protect ring, a piece of Dragoon gear, or just be aware if you're taking it off, elemental magic will dunk all over that character. Rivers here taking the direct berserk route. Yeah, dishing out. Well, yeah, just both these players now doing different strats than just one solo Fu. But Swimmy's already through here using the power of the spoons. Swimmy caught up a lot of time.
You have our second place finish, Dusty Griff, with 51 minutes and 37 seconds. So GG to Dusty.
Oh, and with that finish, that gives Dusty Griff already, from the first 2 events of World Series, as 23 out of a possible 24 points. He is in the lead, far and away. Anyone who wants to take home, the big championship, be the crown, the complete and utter winner of World Series, Dusty's the one to swing for. 23 points across 2 events. Very well done. Very scary to have to compete with him at this point. Swimmy gonna give us our first peek at who the final boss is at the CPU spot.
Is it vanilla CPU?
Oh, it's better.
Oh, it's better? Oh, oh my god! I'm a little behind by you. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, refresh that stream if you're a little behind, Cooliest. But this is, that's pretty.
Oh, that is just the icing on the cake. Gold is coming at you.
Yeah, and Kylan in chat pointing out that it does have some magic attack. The adamant armor will give, well, one, protection from the instant death, and really good protection against both the lightning 3 and the fire 2 spells. The virus spell can still do a lot of damage to an unlucky racer. So, looking to see if virus hits, well, he got lucky. The dragon did not wipe him down to 2 characters. It did try to target the one with the adamant armor. Swimmy probably has this in the bag just through sheer attrition. With 2 spoons thrown for max damage already, not a lot of HP left here. And third, spoon's the charm. Here's why. Gotta wait for the actual death animation though. There's the flash. GG to Swimmy.
GG Swimmy.
Yeah. Third place out of the full 12 with a time of 53:30 and first of our featured racers. I think we'll see about getting him in for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Given how quickly everyone's going to be wrapping this seed up, though, we're probably just going to talk to Swimmy tonight. GG to our other racers who are all about to clean this up as well. Oh, he's choosing to decline the interview. So, given that everyone's going to be coming in hot at about the same time, we may be foregoing those tonight. But make sure you give all these racers a follow. You can tell that it came down neck and neck to the final. 2 of our racers going full 17 of 17, and just clearing out all these fights so efficiently.
Oh, yeah. They're all coming in right now.
Yeah, and to do basically the full, K with just basic key items randomized in under an hour. Beautifully done by all of them. Do have everyone's coming in right now. We do have across other tables, Baka Shinobi in 4th with a 54.39, Nirm in 5th with a 54.48, and Penguinator in 6th with a 55.04.
It does seem like Rivers had to take a reset.
Ooh, I'm guessing the virus probably hit the adamant wear. That would be the only thing I could see having slowed him down. I was overlooking at the IRC chat. Did you see what actually did?
No, unfortunately I didn't. Anyone in chat know what happened if it was virus?
Yeah. Oh, and Zilch also taking a wipe, but Scratch has wrapped up his fight. 7th place with a 55.31.
GG to Scratch.
Oh, and Zilch did not save between his boss fights. Having to redo the evil wall. That's rough. That's going to cost a lot of time.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. I gotcha. Miyari Noko in chat pointing out that Virus did hit the adamant equipped edge before Fu could get a wall off to defend against that magical onslaught. Ooh. And of course, Fu's turn's already occupied that way, and then it just goes downhill.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get, well, again, with everyone coming in so hot and so fast, sometimes it is a judgment call to make. So I think tonight, let's just focus on the seed wrapping up.
Sounds like a plan.
There's Rivers Wawai. He'll be wrapping this up now. There's the flash. Official time, 8th place, 56.52. GG to Rivers.
GG Rivers.
And Zilch, meanwhile, just having to deal with this evil wall again. Very annoying. About 65 through here. Will take just a moment. Still, we're not done yet, though. And Dragus with a 9th place, 57-31 on another one of our channels tonight. 3 spots left. Fingers crossed, Zilch. Come on. You can do this. And not going with Zerk strats here, does have some really good weapons to throw with Edge, as you see, going for over 9,000 a pop. And of course, with the Adamant armor, we know safe at this point. The only issue is that Golbez fight. So the wall is fallen a second time. It's going to come down to that Golbez fight for Zilch. We don't have a 10th place finisher yet, so he can still take this.
Mm-hmm.
Redoing his inventory, making sure everything is fine here.
Is he not saving again? Oh god, I hope.
I mean, well, okay, so there's a couple things going on here. First, only has 2 characters alive. Zilch knows that the dragon will eat neither of them.
Okay.
Of course, the other is, and he moved the Adamant over to Fu. So Fu will be able to cast a wall here, probably on himself, before Golbez can start throwing his magic out. Or if he wants to, he could even do the wall on Edge, and then just start throwing cutlery left and right. So should be safe this time. Again, just knowing that you can't be a... There's no way that Fu doesn't get the spell off this time.
Okay. And we do have our 10th place finisher, Shamistron, with SRR time of 1 hour and 4 seconds. GG to Sham.
Mm-hmm. And Zilch here, looks like it's coming down to the wire, did throw that sword for max damage, throwing a nuke now. Will this be enough to close it out for Zilch? One more throw. Whew, there we go. Zilch has come in 11th place, official time 1 hour, 26 seconds. GG to Zilch.
Yeah, GG.
Meanwhile, we are joined, however, by riversmccown. GG Rivers.
Yeah, GG, dude.
Are we allowed to let Demarine keep rolling these seats?
I still hate Porum.
Wise words, wise words. Well, I think that will probably just about wrap things up for tonight. Again, apologize to our runners who we didn't get in for interviews. Our first place finisher came in a little ahead. Well, first place. Our first one on our restream came in a little ahead of everyone else, and then it was all neck and neck and neck. Didn't really want to detract from the action. That will probably be about it for us tonight.